Okay. Good evening, everyone, family, friends, viewers, and welcome to the Immersive Experience. Um, it's the podcast about you, from you, for you. I'm your guy, J Rail, aka Mr. Accountability, aka it's all mental, aka it starts with choices, aka it's either A or B, aka fade and not faith. But here with me, I got so far Desi, Lou, and China. You guys can go ahead and introduce yourselves, even though I
Hey
already did.
everybody, you know who it is. It's your girl China. She back again here in the present. You guys can always reach me or find me on Instagram. It's the same name as you see on the screen, and Facebook.
All right, good evening. It's your girl Desi Lou, aka Desi Lou the Don, cause I drop names just like J Rel. Fuck you talking about? Big boss of this bitch. Now and if you looking for me, you can find me on Instagram at the underscore immersive experience. And I follow back. Hey Nehemiah. Hey. All right.
All right, today is a big day, big day. Accountability, to me, I feel is one of the biggest virtues in life that you can have, and one of the biggest knocks in life if you don't have it. Exploring the levels of accountability can help us gain a deeper understanding of ourselves and our actions.
Hmm.
So, I want to start off with a question for you, Des. How do you differentiate between surface level account? Oh, no,
Hi.
no. How you feeling? How you doing? How you doing, Miss No No?
Hi.
Go ahead and give your introduction right quick.
Big new, not the little one, you know.
Hey.
Um, my daughter just walked past. Okay, I thought she was in the bed. Um, I'm the owner of Queen's Closet and QC Studios. It is an honor and a privilege to be here on a Thursday. Growth and development, period. Big GD energy over here.
Okay. Okay.
Hi.
Okay. All facts, all facts. All right, Des. Question: how do you differentiate between surface level accountability, where you take responsibility for your actions, and deeper accountability, where you examine underlying motivations and beliefs behind those actions?
I differentiate between the two because one just be like, I smacked that person. But the other one be like, but why did I smack that person? And I just get to digging a little deeper each time. So it's me just going through the levels. So it's levels to accountability, obviously. That's how I feel about it.
Okay, so would you agree that when it comes to differentiating surface level and deeper accountability, would you say that one is a starter to the other one, or do you feel like you can just jump to a deeper accountability without even figuring out where it started?
No, I think you gotta go. I think anything can trigger it. So I don't think it matter the experience that triggers it, but that's what lead to the digging. So an experience triggers the trauma and you undergo surgery, you feel me? And the further they dig, the harder the mass they find or some shit like that. We ain't know it was this deep. I didn't know it was connected to your neck. And if I take it off, you ain't gonna be able to walk again.
Okay. So, with that being said, do you feel like sometimes people can learn to take accountability when the roles are reversed, when what they did in turn happens to them?
I don't think it always work
Nope.
like that.
No, I'm not saying all the time. I'm saying do you believe that that does happen sometimes?
Yeah.
Okay. Next question. New. Have you ever noticed any subconscious patterns or defense mechanisms that prevent you from fully embracing accountability? If so, what are they and how do they impact your growth? Or how did they impact your growth?
If I have, I'm not aware, and you have to basically make me aware. So I'm the type I like to talk to a trusted source, which a lot of cases be Desiree. I like to talk to a trusted source that can talk me through my feelings because my thing is always look, if I'm tweaking, let me know. I just can't call it because I'm conflicted on my thoughts at the moment. So if it's a situation where I'm not taking accountability. It's not because I don't want to take accountability. It's
Not
because
aware.
I'm really not aware, like, okay, I should be holding myself accountable for this right now. And once, I talk to myself through those feelings and we come to the conclusion, like, no, you tweaked. I'm fully okay with that. I just need to know, am I tweaking in that moment? So I think that's the only time where it's not where I didn't want to take accountability. I need to know, I need to talk to my emotions in that time to see if I need to be holding myself accountable.
Okay, so would you agree that sometimes your defense mechanisms come into play because you care more about yourself and how you feel as opposed to what others feel?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's what stops me from, holding myself accountable, because it's like, well, this is how I'm feeling at the moment, but is that right? You know what I'm saying? I know how I feel, but is this the right decision that I'm making for the whole situation?
Okay.
So it definitely, like, one thing about me, I've never had a problem holding myself accountable because I'm all about getting to the source of anything I touch. You can't touch the surface without getting to the source. When you touching the
Exactly.
surface without getting to the source, it's like trying to put a band-aid over a wound that really needs to be stitched up. It's it's
Okay.
it's it's gonna develop
Come
gangrene,
on,
pus, and it's really
surgery.
not gonna, you know what I'm saying? It's not gonna never heal the way it needs to heal because all you did is put a band-aid on. Now you got a band-aid with a bunch of pus and gangrene underneath. Like, I definitely don't mind. I don't have a problem holding myself accountable at all. I just need to know. Sometimes I be conflicted on, is this something I need to be holding myself accountable for, or should I be standing my ground? So I think
Okay.
that's what
I
stops
think
me
mostly
from
it's
time to time.
I feel like sometimes we stand our ground when we feel like we're being attacked. You can
Yeah, yeah,
apologize and say, okay, I understand where I went wrong at. But then when you got that other person just like not fully accepting their part on it and they just placing everything on you, that's when it that defensive mechanism kind of
like, yeah,
comes
like,
in.
whoa, wait. I know this ain't all
Yeah.
on me, is it? And sometimes it do.
Right.
Sometimes it don't.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So with both of what you guys said, I like that. My only thing for me is, where does being selfless come into play to hold yourself accountable? Because being
Just
selfless is one of the starts to being able to understand others and how they feel. So that way you know where you went wrong or what you did wrong.
and that's where I talk
When you
myself through
become
my
aware
emotions.
of it. Yeah. When you become aware and you apologize of where your actions are starting to become, you have to take accountability for how you're treating that other person or how you made that other person feel. You know what I mean? So once you became aware of how that person felt or perceived what you said or did or whatever, what have you, then you have to say, you know what, that wasn't my intentions or whatever. You got to take accountability on that part, and it's up to that person to receive what you're saying, if they feel like you're being genuine or not.
Okay,
For
okay.
me, I know that's where the conversations come into play. Like, all right, what are we doing here? And
Right.
that kind of helps me get through, like, whether I'm being selfless, whether I need to ease up, whether I, of course, need to take accountability. It really, what I would like to see for myself is to be able to kind of walk myself through that without needing somebody right there telling me, like, okay, yeah, you tweak it. I want to be able to call it myself. Like, I have a good judgment of character, but a lot of times I feel like I lack that judgment of character when it comes to myself.
Is it because your emotions are too high into it? Are you
No,
acting off
I don't know. It'd
emotion?
be like a blur a lot of times, like, because I'm an overthinker. So I think that's what it really stepped down to for me. Like, it'd be hard for me to determine whether I'm overthinking or if I'm right on track. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot, like I can give a current situation. The guy that I was just talking to, I couldn't determine whether I was overthinking or if what I was feeling was valid. I would like to see me be able to get through that by myself without having to always call somebody like, hey, I need you to help me through this.
Okay,
That's
that's
what I would like to see
understandable.
for myself.
So where do you feel those steps start with you?
I don't know. That's the problem. I don't know.
Sometimes
Being
I've learned
aware.
over the years that being able to be accountable for me started with being able to take criticism, being able to allow people to tell me where I made a mistake or where they felt I was wrong or where even in sports, being able to take criticism from coaches allowed me to grow and develop into the player I've become, the man I've become, because I've been able to take criticism from other people to hold myself accountable for my own actions and see where I went wrong, where I got defensive, where sometimes it's okay to sit back and not say anything and just learn from another person from what they're saying, because you don't always see you. Sometimes in most
Mm-hmm.
cases other people see what you don't see, and that
Mm-hmm.
I feel falls in line with accountability as well, because I'm not going to always see where I make a mistake. I'm not going to always understand where I made that mistake, how I made that mistake, when I made that mistake, but somebody else may have and or may be able to guide me through that based on their past situations or past experiences, and or them just seeing what I did wrong.
Yeah, and I always say that too. Like,
I agree with
when it comes to somebody that I'm reaching out to for advice, I always say you have that bird's eye view. I'm right there in the jungle, so I can't see like you can see. So I don't know. Maybe that just reassured me that maybe I can't. It's okay that I can reach out to people like Desiree and a couple of my other close friends, for advice to walk me through stuff. But I just still wish I could kind of walk myself through it without being so dependent. I feel real dependent.
And that's very understandable. Sometimes the more experiences you gain in life, it helps you understand more, helps you see more. Sometimes people just don't want to see where they're wrong. Sometimes people don't want to see where they made a mistake or understand that they made a mistake because they haven't been through it, or it hasn't happened to them. And sometimes people are just selfish and don't care. So for
Yeah, see
them,
me, I'm
that
the opposite.
accountability doesn't come into play.
I'll be all for, like I always tell Desiree, I'll be hoping my thoughts be wrong. I'm all for, what I'm saying, holding myself accountable, absorbing, where I went wrong in the situation. I just be need that verification that that's what it is, and I'm not overthinking it.
But you can't
Mm-hmm.
hold yourself accountable in a diminishing way.
Like what you mean?
What you mean by that?
Like
You
you
can't
can't
you
be
can't
like,
knock yourself
go ahead, Jarrell.
because you made a mistake. You can't down yourself because you did this or did that. Everything in life is an experience, whether good or bad. You can turn everything around. You can make it what you want to make it, or take from it what you want to take from it. You can't down yourself, make it downplay yourself, make have a lot of self-inflicted wounds. I know this
Mhm.
because I've done this in numerous occasions. You fall farther into negativity and you push further into hate and anger and distrust and mistrust and just disbelief on everything.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
That's true.
Next question. China with the six rings. What role does self reflection play in holding yourself accountable, and how can you cultivate a practice of honest self assessment without falling into self judgment or blame?
Um, I think when you take accountability, you're always judging yourself. But it depends on just like what Desiree said. You can't just diminish your character due to you making a mistake. You have to learn and grow from that. Mistake or whatever, what have you. I feel like basically accountability is how you make somebody feel, honestly, and you are aware of that and you learn from that on your own and you grow from that on that person. And I think it always include it always to me, I might be able to kick it and talk, to mess with Desiree and treat her one way, but I won't be able to do the same to Nunu because she gets easily offended. So it always, you always gotta kind of like know where the limits are with other people too, because you end up apologizing, that's gonna get on your nerves. You know what I mean? Be like, dang, well, I keep on saying this. I'm just gonna have to fall back because I see this girl can't really take my character. So,
Mhm.
I could kick it
And
with
you know
Desiree,
what?
but me and Nunu ain't.
And it's
But
funny that you said that though, because I have a friend that can't take, you can't tell her nothing. She can't, constructive criticism does not work in her world at all. How do you deal with somebody like that? And I'm talking about we close. So how do you deal
You
with
can't
somebody
deal with
like that?
somebody
It's
like that.
hard to
You can't
okay,
deal
Honestly,
with
because I'm
somebody
like,
like
it's
that.
so hard to deal with her. Like at times, I'm not gonna say all the time. At times, it's hard to deal with her
Because
because
it's
it's
gonna
like
wear on you when you start to walk on eggshells on somebody. You gotta start, then it wears and tear. Like, you can't be your full self around somebody. Then what are you doing to yourself? Is that self-sabotage? Like we just talked about that a couple of weeks ago.
I just look
But
at
I
it
think
like
you
you
just
know, it's just
because
certain stuff I
you
can't
just
say to
said
her.
right, but she just said something really important because the other side of accountability is not only how you make other people feel, but it's about how you make
Mm.
yourself feel. How
Right.
you step on your own feelings, what you do to yourself, what agreements you got with yourself that you sitting here going against because you sitting here trying to pander to other people. We spend so much time trying to get other people other things that we step on ourselves. So accountability also comes in the same thing, the question you just asked, self-sabotage. How am I sabotaging myself? Because if I know what I
Mm-hmm.
want, but I don't go get the shit. So this all of this play in accountability. But that's that question you asked me first. That's that deeper level. Everybody only want to get the mold removed, but don't nobody want to go see if it's cancer.
We
Mhm.
not diving deep.
so China, China, how would you say that a person can practice an honest self assessment without knocking themselves?
Um, you gotta dive deep within yourself. Once you are aware of what you're doing and how you making somebody feel, or making yourself feel, you have to practice like how you speak and how you treat in other people and how you literally got to change whatever you're doing your ways. I feel like honestly if you making somebody feel some type of way and it's everybody, then it's something deeper that's going on with you that you need to figure out. So
Okay,
you
because
got to do
everybody
some
ain't
self.
lying.
Everybody
Right.
ain't
So
You got
wrong
to
with
do
it.
some soul
Everybody ain't wrong.
searching.
That's what I always say. Everybody, baby, listen. If you got four people around you saying the same shit, listen to them people.
It's some
Absolutely.
Everybody
self
ain't
healing.
lying
You
on
need
you.
to do some soul searching.
so
Most
for
definitely.
a person like myself, which you all know, I have a lot of self hate, which I started the year off telling myself that I'm going to change all that. What would you tell somebody like me to be able to deal with things, take accountability, and not knock myself in the end, not down myself, not kick myself? Because I've done it a lot. I'm I'm very big on accountability, I always have, but I always put myself down further and further based on my mistakes. Most of them because I
Well,
knew better, but
You
I
well,
have
made
if
to
them
you know
anyway.
create
better,
new
you do better.
habits. You have to.
If you know better, you do better. Right. You have to literally, if a person like
You have
you that
to
can't,
like literally reverse. Like if you say, fuck, I fucked this up. Instead of saying that, say, you know what, I did my best. And the next time I'm gonna make
I'm
sure
gonna do
I don't do
better.
this so I could do better than next time. It's just reprogramming your brain and creating those new habits for yourself.
Right.
That's where you can start. Now I'm not saying it's gonna
Right.
happen overnight, but it starts there at least.
Okay, so like I said, a person like myself, I've always told myself I'm a reality thinker. A lot of people said it's more of a negative thought. I have negative thoughts towards myself or towards whatever goes on in my life. I see it as if something goes wrong, I already kind of expect it to go wrong in some way.
Well,
So
that's your first.
I'm not gonna
That's
be
where
as
you got
mad.
went wrong first time.
But you know what? The
That's where
truth is
you went
ugly. Like,
wrong
let's
because you
talk
thought
about it.
it
The
was
truth is
wrong.
ugly. Reality is
The
if
truth
if
is ugly,
everybody looked at shit,
but you speak life into your existence. If you're going to always think that something negative is going to happen within you, then that's what's going to happen. But if you speak positivity over your life, over the things that you want, then that's going to happen. Even if you don't make it this time, you keep going to the next. You keep going to the next.
mhm.
Speak positivity into yourself so you can have a better outcome.
The gag is that's easier said than done, especially for somebody who's starting at ground zero that really have to pull themselves out of that funk because he said it's a lot of self hatred. That's strong. So that's not nothing that's going to happen overnight. like, oh, I'm just gonna
He can't
change
do
my
it by
ways.
himself.
No, that's years and years of
You can't do
self-hatred.
it by
So
yourself. You need
you
some
have to
counseling,
start creating.
spiritual
Yep, you have to
healing.
start creating new habits for yourself. That's it. That's all. Like you just basically said the same thing I said. Like instead of saying like, let's say, you know your thing is football. Instead of saying, "Oh fuck, I didn't get that touchdown." All right, well I ain't get it this time, but I know next game I'm about to get it next time. That's how
Right.
you start
Right.
reprogramming your brain. Turn them negatives into a positive. And again, it's easier
Yeah.
said than done, but this is where forming new habits come in at. If you start changing your habits, eventually everything else will follow. After a while, it's gonna
That's
become
so
second
true.
nature to say, "Oh, I'm gonna get it next time," instead of saying, "Oh, I fucked up this time." You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
Eventually those habits are gonna catch on, and that's all you're gonna know after a while.
Now, like I said,
Hmm.
I'm
And I
working at
think
that
Vega
100%.
was talking about that the last time. He was saying how when you got to change something, let's start off. Okay, I never make my bed, but today I'm gonna make my bed and I'm gonna brush my teeth. Tomorrow I'm gonna do the same thing, and eventually it becomes a cycle.
And
You have to
consistency
start
is key.
getting into
Don't do it
it.
that first day and don't do it the rest of the
Exactly.
week. You see what I'm saying? That's you setting yourself up for failure.
I
You got
Okay,
it's
Rachel. Can
discipline.
you read Rachel comment, please?
she said
I
it. She said
I
it
love
takes a
Rachel's
village.
comment. That is,
Loving
I
yourself
love it.
starts within, but you need people in your corner to help you uplift yourself as well. That's
Mm-hmm.
facts.
Absolutely.
Now, I'm gonna play
It's
devil's advocate to
the
what
environment.
both Nunu and China. I'm gonna play devil's advocate to what you guys said. You guys say that starts positive. Mindset has to be positive. You got to change the negative mindset, and that start positive, right?
Mm-hmm.
My negative
Your mindset got
mindset,
to be thinking different.
my prior. Let me say that my prior negative mindset that I had, it gave me a drive that I've never had. Perfect example, sports. I've been told you're not gonna make it. You're not good. You too short. You too small. I've been told that a lot. I use that as fuel and told myself those same things, and it pushed me more and more and more and more. I became better and better.
But
So
what you did was you turned that negative
That's
into a
self
positive.
motivate. You motivated you. Right. You
I
self
no no,
motivated the negatives.
but what I'm saying is I implanted in my head I'm not gonna be this. I'm not gonna be that. And it kept me going. I,
Mm-hmm.
I,
You did
I
what I
wasn't
just said.
I wasn't telling myself I'm gonna make it. I was telling myself I'm not gonna make it based on what I was hearing to drive myself more.
Mm.
So
But did you
you
make it?
implanted negatives. And so what Aisha said is what it is. I can agree with that, but you can attract those same people by loving yourself authentically. So you might not have known it, but you just planning negatives in your head. So now you have to reverse all the negatives. It's exactly what
Right.
it's kind of like. Even though you saying it in a like a I'm gonna play devil's advocate type of way, it's like no, it's still the same thing. You still gotta undo all of that shit that you did to get there.
Is
So
that
you do gotta
is
replace it.
what you are doing is almost like a protection, a wall you was putting up just in case you didn't make it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep,
You
and
was
I
like,
do that
okay,
same thing. I
That's
do
your
I'm
that
gonna
exact
cushion.
same
say this
thing.
because I don't want to expect that I don't want to expect
Yeah,
nothing
because
and then
worse
get hurt.
because the
I
thing
can't get
is,
my hopes high.
if worse come to worse, at least I wasn't wrong. That's what that shit boiled down to. I wasn't wrong.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that was definitely my mindset for
Uh-huh.
years.
I know the mindset because I practiced it for years, and I had to. And I'm only telling you this from experience. I had to start telling myself like, okay, me being an entrepreneur, I don't work no 9 to 5. Like I run my boutique and my venue. On days that I don't make a single dollar, it's like, all right, fuck, I'm not no failure because I ain't making no money today. I bet you I make something tomorrow. And you tell yourself
Right.
that you're not being delusional. You speaking that into your existence. Just like you speaking all that negative
Exactly.
into your existence, start turning them into positives and start speaking positive to your existence. I pray, I manifest, all type of stuff. And I'm not saying that, just because I say that, I'm gonna make no money tomorrow. But I know when it's all said and done, something gonna shake.
Hmm.
And
You
that's what I do
plan.
stand firm on.
That's
Something
true.
gonna shake up here. And
You,
again, long as you keep
you
that positive mindset, I promise you. It's so much, it sounds so cliche. I promise you, because before I start having a positive mindset about stuff, it's like, shit, lame as hell. Like you saying that shit, but I want to see you do what you saying. But it's real. Like when you start really changing your mindset, your environment change around you.
I feel that. I feel that. I appreciate that for sure.
Well, I like this saying that I said on one podcast with you and Courtney Nunu, and I had said that you've been planning to fail your entire life when you plan to succeed.
And a lot of us are
Mm.
afraid, quiet is kept. And I feel like, to a certain extent, that may be your problem. You afraid to succeed. Because what you
Mm-hmm.
gonna do when you succeed? You still gonna stay that same negative mindset? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
At what point do you say, you know what, I can do this? And it shows because I just did it.
success really wasn't my
It's like you doing enough
fear.
just to survive.
It wasn't my fear fully. I'll put it like that because I'm a big believer in you never know what you be good at until you try it. So I was always
Mm-hmm.
open to try everything. It really wasn't my full problem. For me, it was I didn't want to push myself so hard that I didn't make it. I think that was my problem. I didn't want to try something so bad and want something so bad that I didn't make it. And the
You
failure
gotta
of
dream
that,
big,
Oh, that
bitch.
still sound like you afraid of success to me.
yeah, that's why I
Dream
said
big.
it's like hit or miss. It goes both ways because, like I said, that is still failure of success of making it and not making it.
Y'all know that
Mm-hmm.
quote. My
Well, you
favorite
gotta
quote
you gotta
is
stop
by
surviving and start living. That's the thing.
Mm-hmm. I've been in
my
survival mode the
favorite.
majority of my life, and it's hard to retrain. Now that I will say, I will agree with. It's hard to take your mind out that survival mindset because before I had my daughter, all I had was my independence and my survival. You know what I'm saying? That's all I had. Like if a person asks me, "What can you bring to the table?" My hustle. My hustle is
Yeah.
unmatched. Can't nobody tell me otherwise. If I ain't confident in nothing else, and I'm talking about, I'm probably one of the most insecure people that y'all ever came across in y'all life, but I never expressed that out loud. I express it now because this is the platform that I could express that on. But me, you will never guess that I'm insecure about my teeth. I'm insecure about my body. I suffer from acne. Like you will never know that. Like you can't let nobody know that about you. I walk around like the baddest bitch shaking this earth. And it's gonna
Oh,
be that because the minute you let somebody
As
know
you should.
your insecurities, they gonna feed on them every time.
I feel that
They
wholeheartedly.
gonna fit and they're gonna use it against you as well.
The only
Absolutely.
person who has ever known that I've ever had hate for myself has been Dez. You would meeting me, you would never know. I'm always laughing. I'm always joking. I only show people what I want you to know. And if I don't want you to know something, you ain't never gonna see it. You will never see the negative side of me. You'll never see the hateful side of me. You'll never see the angry side of me. What's the point?
But the blessing is you got somebody like Desiree because at some point we all need that outlet. So it's a blessing that you have somebody like Desiree where you can let that part of you out because holding it in don't help either. So no, you right. Just like I don't exude that to everybody that I come across, but I have my safe places where I can express it like, oh God, I just want like Desiree hit me every single day if I mention something about my damn weight, like, oh God, I can't wait till I had this surgery, I'm gonna lose this weight. Like we everybody need that person. Or even if whether it's your mom, your dad, a friend, a cousin, a sister, everybody needs that person to just kind of, you know, be able to just I don't know, be free with in that capacity. Cause holding it in, it's like, man, look, you doing more damage than good.
Yeah.
So with that being
Okay.
said, then, like you said, hold it in. So, are there any areas of your life where you find it more challenging to be accountable? What might that be? What might be the root causes of the resistance, and how can you address them? We'll start with Des for this question, then we'll go to China, and then Nuno.
Um, a place where I find it myself hard to hold myself accountable. Shit, everywhere, nah. But it's just a thing of dealing with myself. So I don't think it's like a lot of places that I find hard to hold myself accountable. It's some places that I can miss that and I'm not necessarily looking in myself hard enough to see, but baby, listen, I'm blues clues when it comes to this shit, so I'm gonna figure this shit out. So like, what was the rest of that question?
What might be the root causes of this resistance, and how can you address them?
Oh, cause I'll be thinking sometimes I know what the fuck is going on and I don't be having a clue. So that's the root cause of that. I just gotta but yeah, just digging deeper. That's it. It really is just I just gotta dig deeper. I got this saying that I've been going by a lot lately, and it's letting my subconscious bleed into my consciousness. And so I just want to be aware of the things that are innate to me because it's become second nature to me. So that's how I usually deal with it.
China.
Um, for me, I can honestly say I've never had an issue with taking accountability. I've always been a person that has always, if somebody was to ever say, "Hey, you've done this or whatever," I've always been okay with accepting my part. I would say the only way that would be hard for me to not accept accountability is when I pull up that defensive mechanism and I'm feeling attacked. And now I have to go into that who the hell you talking to type character. But other than that, like, I've always been the person that has always kind of like been okay with saying whatever, whatever. Now, when it comes to self, it was some things I didn't know about myself that I needed to take accountability on, about myself that I need to work on, which I'm still working on that at my big age.
Okay, so why do you feel
Not at this. Yeah,
why do you feel you're okay with taking accountability for certain things and then putting up a defense mechanism for others?
No, it's only when I feel attacked. Like if that person isn't taking heed to what I'm saying and I'm having to keep explaining myself over and over again. I don't like saying I'm sorry 5 different times in 10 different ways. If you
Baby
understand what
bad,
I'm
you got
saying,
one
like,
time.
okay, we ain't doing it. You bye. So I said what I said. I apologize. If you perceive it or you don't, then that's that.
But sometimes you have to be selfless in your way of thinking because sometimes you may not know how they feel. You want them to hear you and understand you, but when you gonna hear them and
I'm
understand
always
them,
selfish.
just
I'm
because
always,
you
I always put myself I always put myself in other people's positions or other people's shoes to see how I've made them feel. But like I said, if they're attacking me, then I'm going to defend myself at all times because I'm human just like you human. If you pinch me, I'm gonna say ouch. Period.
why
So
do you
I
this
think
gotta
this
protect my who I
this be
am.
my thing with people though. This be my thing with people. Y'all tell me if I'm being I don't know a drill sergeant right now. My whole thing is you heard me the first time. I use all my nouns and verbs. I have a very loud voice that carries. You heard me the first
absolutely.
time.
Hey, you hear me?
I'm not, you
No,
got
for
one
real.
time. Real talk. Like, y'all hear me loud and clear, right? So if I'm sitting up here expressing myself and I'm telling you how I feel, or, I'm going to use China's example. If it's a situation where I need to hold myself accountable and apologize, and like I always say, if I could sit here and come to you with my tail in between my legs and humble myself and apologize and hold myself accountable and accept full responsibility for the wrong that I've done, I'm not repeating that again. That'll make me prideful, but you heard me that first time.
but see, with being attacked, sometimes people forget that accountability is not just a one-way street. People think accountability happens or comes into play after you did something. Sometimes accountability starts before you do anything as well. Just because the person attacked me doesn't mean I have to get
Yeah.
defensive. I can hold
Mhm.
myself accountable right then and there and say, you know what? I get this person having a bad day or whatever, whatnot, or they don't want to accept my apology. Hey, I apologize. It is what it is. Sometimes people will
But you
attack you
saying the
just
same thing I
because.
said. You apologize. It's up to them to accept it or not. But you heard me that
And
first
you
time. I'm not
saying the
saying it
same
again.
thing I said.
Yeah, but you don't always have to get defensive.
But
And
No, it
you
ain't.
know
That ain't
what?
even getting
Sometimes,
defensive.
sometimes
It's
no,
people
just
no,
might
no,
is
not
no,
what it
no.
understand
is.
what you're
I'm
saying the first time.
no, I'm not saying they don't understand what you're saying. What I'm saying is, okay, China, if let's say me and you talking, right? And you say something that I'm not too keen of, I don't care for it. And I let you know, like, hell, yo, that wasn't cool.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and then I decide that you're going to live wrong. You in there thinking, you know what, maybe I was wrong, this, and that. So I'm gonna go apologize. In the middle of you about to come in here and
Okay.
apologize, I text you and say, you stupid, you this, you that, you out the bam. That's me attacking you. But to be able to hold yourself accountable, you have to take in what I say and realize that, you know what, I'm not gonna say anything back. I'm gonna go ahead and just apologize and leave it at that.
Right. Right. And I do that a lot too. I be like, okay, I offended this person or whatever, whatever. I offended you. I apologize. But then I'm gonna let you know, hey, I think you hurt my feelings when you just sent this text message as well. It depends on how you communicate. That goes to communication. It depends on how you communicate and respond. You have to actually listen to communicate. So if you listen to what I'm hearing, what I'm telling you, or whatever, and you perceive what I'm saying, then we can actually move past that. That's being selfless. Because I'm not going to jump down your throat because you called me stupid. I'm actually going to laugh at your ass.
Listen, I don't really care for apologies. Them just words. Show me with your actions. I don't give a fuck about none of that. This sorry shit. I'll get your sorry ass the fuck on. Show up in a way that I could see. Show up in a way for me that's tangible. Shit, the fuck.
Mm-hmm.
But
But you know what?
if a
Sometimes
person
saying
doesn't
I'm
start with
sorry goes
words,
a long way.
if a person doesn't start with words, how are they to show you initially that, hey, I know I made a mistake and I'm acknowledging that I made this mistake? Granted, the actions are going to come into play by changing for the next time, but right now I'm acknowledging, hey, I made this mistake. I am sorry.
You know how you want to be treated?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Treat me like that then.
But
What was I
you
just
know
saying
what?
earlier?
You
Treat me
can
like your
always,
most
you
prized
can
possession.
always
If you
Oh my
can't
God.
listen.
get out my
You can
face.
you can always say something to somebody without being like you think that you're not mistreating that person, but they just playing with you, but you're taking it to heart.
But that go to say a lot about
Their
that person.
perception of what you say,
And it's a little truth in every single joke.
or it could
So
say a lot about you.
we gonna play with somebody
Hey, maybe the
else.
joke wasn't that funny to them. Maybe maybe it was a little personal for them, and and you was being petty when you said it. You know what I mean? So sometimes just saying I'm sorry goes a long way. I didn't mean to hurt your feelings. Apologies are
But
a great way to
apologies
start that
don't
communication,
matter.
that
Why do
conversation
they?
that you need to have, and then you put the foot
Apologies
pen.
apologies to me don't matter. Cause all I'm thinking is you could tell me it's been a million people throughout history who told you they were sorry and they still turned around and did the same shit. Oh, I'm sorry, and slapped your ass again.
And they was
So like,
and they were some sorry ass motherfuckers. You right.
and you let them back in. You gotta
Sorry.
hold yourself accountable for repeating the same cycle. You got one time to show me who the fuck you is. Who are you? I don't care who it is. It could be the waiter, it could be the janitor, it could be your boss, it could be your mama. Like you got one time to show me how you handle people and then tell me you want to be treated differently. I'm good. Cause you showing me you.
Mm.
Now, if I
Mm-hmm.
choose to mess with you, I gotta hold myself accountable because I saw you. This what they be saying when you be ignoring the red flags. Hold yourself accountable for that shit. Cause I saw that flag and I zoomed right past that bitch.
Mm-hmm. And then people, oh,
Like
what was
I'm
me?
saying,
Oh,
like,
you did
no,
this, you
fuck
did
that.
that. Nah, you allowed it. That's the difference.
Absolutely.
Did
And
I
I
not
think that's why I be
say? Did I
conflicted a
not
lot of
say I
times
was
with holding
working on
myself
myself
accountable.
and taking accountability with self? That's right. Yeah, I agree with Nunu 100%. I was like, that's why I said earlier. I'm having a hard time with self accountability than I am with just being selfless.
I feel that.
Okay, okay. So, Nunu, how does your accountability or lack thereof affect your relationship with others?
Mm.
You know what? I don't have a problem with holding myself accountable. I just need to know that that's what I need to be doing at that moment. To be honest, like I don't have a problem with. I'm so honest that it scared a lot of people away from me. Like, I'd rather hurt you with the truth than pacify you with a lie. Let's get through this truth. This lie, it ain't gonna be as easy to recover from, especially with me. So, holding myself
Oh, I know that's
accountable
right.
has never been a problem for me. Not for real. Like again, the only time it's ever been a problem for me is when I'm not sure in that moment if I should be holding myself accountable or if I should be just saying, fuck them. I feel how I feel. That's the only
Okay.
time accountability is conflicting for me. But when I know, like, like, okay, bitch, I tweaked. I did too much. I'm full fledged ready to apologize. I know, like, as, no, because I don't mind at all. Like, either you gonna fuck with me or you ain't. Them the only two choices you got. Like, what you gonna do? You ain't gonna fuck with me no more because I was honest. Like, that's really how I look at that shit. I don't
Pretty
have a problem.
much.
I'm at a point in my life where I don't mind people disappearing in my life. Like the year 2022 was an eye opener for me. I lost so many friends that year; it was depressing.
Oh God, yes.
I lost, especially when my business started growing. People started falling off like flies, and I had to learn. I had to teach myself to be okay with that because like I always say, only the real survive Narissa. Only the
Yeah.
real survive Narissa, and
And
that's just
listen,
where I'm
that's
at.
what
But
would
I had to
needed.
learn to be okay
That's what
with
needed
people
to
leaving my
happen
life.
to make you grow.
I'm so glad you said that. So, with that being said, Nunu, are there any specific situations where you take ownership for your actions and it led to something positive in your life, as well as your connection with others?
Um, I got a list of it. Listen, back when in my younger years, when I was still learning when I was just still trying to figure myself throughout life, there was one situation, and it taught me to this day. Um, you know how that shit go. We get caught up, us as women, some men too. We get caught up in gossip, and I was in a real good ass gossip session, and I probably said a little bit too much, and the person had came to me to I guess check me about it. Like, so you said this, and I'm like, I did say that, and I'm sorry, and she didn't know what to say because she was ready for a confrontation that I wasn't trying to give her. What am I gonna go back and forth with you for over some shit I said? Or even worse, why would I sit on this phone and tell you I ain't said and you got all the evidence that I said it? Because how would this other person know if I didn't say it? So
Okay.
that taught me, like,
Mm-hmm.
shut the fuck up and keep your damn mouth closed.
So,
I
do
held
you feel
myself
like
accountable. And it's a nice lesson learned that I learned to this day. Like, you can't talk to everybody.
you holding yourself accountable for your actions has led you to lose more people or gain more people, gain more relationships?
Lose. But I wouldn't have it no other way because again, if you can't handle my truth, what is you around me for? What are we really doing here if
Exactly.
we sitting in each other's face
Exactly.
bullshitting, lying, hiding the truth, can't, keep it real one another? Like, what are we doing? That's just a bunch of fakeness in the room. I don't want that around me. Tell me the truth. If I'm musty, tell me I'm musty. I don't want nobody outside to tell me. I'm gonna give you a
Okay.
perfect example.
Right.
I'm gonna give you a perfect
I
example.
agree with
The
you,
guy,
no, 100%. I
no, for real, like, I'm just that real. Like, please tell me because if a bitch outside tell me, not me and you got a problem. Because bitch, you been around me all day. Real
Okay.
talk. I'm gonna give you a
right.
perfect example. Perfect example. Once again, the guy that I was just talking to, I kind of just didn't have to kind of, separate myself. He brought up a situation where, when he was married, he had went and cheated on his wife. And get this. Now I don't agree with, it, but I'm just gonna repeat what he said. To not disrespect her, he didn't sleep in a bed with her for 3 to 4 days. My thing was, of course, if you all can agree, y'all finna fuck it. We on the podcast, right? If he watching, hey baby,
What?
it's a perfect situation.
Come
My
through.
my exact words to him when he said that, I'm like, baby, the disrespect started when you cheated. The disrespect didn't start when you came back home. What are you
Exactly.
respecting by coming home? You actually making more problems because nigga, you don't get in bed with me for 3 4 days. I ain't getting no dick. We really got a problem. The cheating is the least of your worries at this point.
Okay, that part.
Nigga, when you was bold enough to go
You
cheat, be bold
disrespected
enough
me
to
when
come
the
home and
thought
face
came
me.
in your head to sleep with another woman.
Yeah,
That's when
but
the
here's my thing.
disrespect to
Call me
start is
weird.
when you put it in your head that you was going to sleep with.
Listen, call me
Shit, that's
weird.
when
But if you bold enough,
accountability start.
if you
When
bold
you
enough to
put it
go
in
cheat on
your
me, then you should
head.
be bold enough to face me after you done. Period.
You right.
You can't
You
face
ain't
me when you
wrong.
done.
But you're not grown
You
enough for
too
that.
pussy to face me after you cheat. But you think you doing me a favor by not sleeping with me for 3 4 days because you still got hustling on your penis. Like, fuck that. Face me like the
Okay.
bad nigga you was when you went and cheated on me.
Don't spare my
You gave all the
feelings.
dick and ain't bring me home none. What's wrong with you? You ain't leave none for me.
That's why
I
these
don't
niggas
want
not
it
ready
after
Oh
for
that.
man.
polygamy. I know.
You see
I
how
That's
don't
how
even
I
want
bad
it
know.
after that.
I'm so real, it scared people away.
I
Like,
don't even
bitch, you
want it after
retarded.
that. You can have it.
Nigga,
But you
you
making
gonna go
yourself
fuck
look
another
guilty
bitch. You
now
gotta
No,
sitting
be
it
in the
smart
scares
bed
enough
people
to
talking
come
away,
about
but
back
it
me.
to
makes better
fuck me.
relationships for people that are still there.
You
Yeah.
know
I
what
knew a
Kevin
nigga
Gates
who could
said?
fuck. He ran a
Listen,
fuckathon.
that's why people call Kevin Gates retarded. Kevin Gates said it best. He say, uh, if this woman was to ask him, like, you went out and cheated on me, he was like, yeah, but I did. Now, either you gonna help me clean up this mess or you gonna help me pack my shit and leave. Really shit I heard. I'm gonna help you
Cause
pack your
that's
shit and leave.
it.
I'm
But
gonna
I'm
help. Well,
Yeah,
glad
no,
we
we
that you
got.
not
kept it
neither.
real.
Nigga, you gonna pack your own shit and get the hell on.
No, I'm gonna help you pack your shit and leave. I want you to get all your shit up
I
out of
want
here.
you to
You right?
get on. Why wouldn't I help you? I'm gonna help you leave me. Cause I want you
You gonna
gone
get
that
all
bad.
your shit and get the fuck home.
Holding myself
That's gonna
accountable
make
and
it.
being
That's
That
gonna
aware
take
is
bad.
too
definitely
much
scared a lot of
time.
Gotta
people
get
Let's
it.
away.
pack together. Come on, babe. Let's pack.
Okay, let's have a packing party. Let's call together.
Get
Fuck
this
it.
shit the fuck up out here. Fuck is
Listen,
you talking
As a
about?
matter of
listen.
fact, teamwork makes the dream work. Let's call the bitch you
Okay,
cheated on me with.
bye.
Let's just be a team.
Okay. For the
But that
first
but shit
time.
like that scares people. That like, wait, this bitch crazy. I ain't crazy. I'm real. Now go call her.
Let's do it.
Hey,
Certified.
I get it. I get it. Des. What
To
fears or
my husband's.
insecurities would you say might have held you back or are holding you back from taking responsibility for your actions? And what has and can happen in your life?
You said what fear?
Yes, what fears or insecurities would you say have held you back or are holding you back from taking full responsibility for your actions?
Oh, the ones I always
Mm.
mention on this podcast, being fat, black, and ugly. And it's not that people still say it to me, but it's still something that I had internalized growing up. So it's something I always gotta be aware of. So fine tuning those thoughts that used to play in my head all the time and still walking in my authenticity of who I know I am, where I wanna be. So I know sometimes I gotta definitely be aware of those types of thoughts. So when I see something and somebody like, oh, push yourself a little harder, and I'm looking at it like, don't nobody want to see me, don't nobody want to hear me, and it manifests in different ways. It's not always that it's just like, oh, I just think this about myself. No, it manifests in them ways like, don't nobody want to see me, don't nobody want to hear me. But if you be like, why you think don't nobody want to see you? Why you think don't nobody? It's gonna always lead back to them three reasons. So
You know, one of the first things I told Desiree when I met her, I'm like, girl, you was beautiful with that chocolate skin.
You know, the
Where you
first,
always
Exactly.
the
I'm
first thing I
like
said
over
when I
here
met
telling
her.
me beautiful, sexy, and chocolate. Stop playing. Beautiful, sexy,
First,
and
well, thank
chocolate,
you.
baby.
I
like, girl, you a
appreciate
goddess, bitch. I wish I had your skin. Bitch, my pink pale halfway ass.
it.
Like I know it's a bunch of white up here somewhere. But we
Yeah.
have the worst skin. And bitch, your skin all smooth and pretty.
We
Like, girl,
do.
you will be all right.
the first thing I
Smooth,
said when I
baby.
met Des,
Darker the
you
berry,
need you
sweeter
need
the
help.
juice.
I need
Yeah,
help.
that's the first thing you need help. I ain't never in my life
Dang.
met nobody that's the other version of me.
Thank you,
I ain't met
Rachel.
some people like that in my life.
Okay.
But there's somebody that I can say
Rachel.
you like the other version of me. You and I know I need help. You right along with me.
I know my fried ass do.
I know something wrong with me, but
Damn.
hey,
Ah!
Listen.
I know my fried ass need help. But hey, look, that's what this podcast for, right?
yeah, all
Hey,
facts,
that's where we at.
Period.
That's where we at.
all
Help us
facts.
all. But yeah, that's what it is for me though.
Self
So I,
accountability. Goddamn.
yeah, but that's how I go deeper though. But once I found out it was those three things that kept me back from everything. It's this quote that I always say. It's my favorite quote, and I don't know the whole thing by heart no more. But it's by Marianne Williamson. She running for president too, y'all. I don't know, but she is. And she
Man,
said,
I ain't saying nobody but Trump.
that's the Republican Party, bitch. Look at the Democrats.
Mm-mm. I don't see them
Like,
people.
I ain't seen nobody but Trump. That bitch disrespectful. But she say our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. So, and
Afraid
then
to
she go on.
succeed.
Mm.
Exactly. I was afraid to be great, bitch. Like I was afraid. Don't nobody want no mammy looking ass bitch. Like I had to learn to love me on a whole nother level. So even when me and Jarrell used to have them conversations, like I used to I understood what you was going through because I had been through that. It took a lot of it wasn't until the fifth grade. I tell everybody this story. It wasn't until the fifth grade. My mama, she bought us two shirts and a pair of pants, right? And like she like, hey, just switch the shirt out and you can wear the same pants twice. And I did that. So
Hey, that's all facts though.
and I was like, I was like, okay, this is a nice little trick. I don't know, I ain't never did it. So if somebody clocked me, bruh, they clocked me, and after that, I started cultivating that whole I don't give a fuck attitude, and literally it started out as a defense mechanism at first. I swear to God, it did. But as time grew on, it was me more like I used to tell myself, "You the most bothered, unbothered bitch I'd have never met," because it was still feelings deep down inside of me that I was feeling. So it wasn't until I started exploring all of that shit that I understood like it's a lot of things you're not dealing with. You just touching the surface. What's wrong with you? So
And
I
suppression
get
is
it.
dangerous too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
China with the 6 earrings. Are there
Mhm.
any patterns
You
or
said
habits that you constantly blame others for instead of taking ownership for?
Ooh, that's a good
Wait, what was the
question.
question again?
The question is, are there any
Oh,
patterns or habits that you constantly blame others for instead of taking ownership?
Mm. Okay.
I used to blame honestly my parents a lot for a lot of things that I should have had, or a lot of from where I ain't where I need to be at this point in my life. And and it all comes back down to when you gonna stop blaming them and realize you grown as hell now. Like, you gotta go get it for yourself. You can't blame mommy and daddy forever. Like,
Mhm.
that's how it was,
Mhm.
especially when the absence of what I needed wasn't there. I blamed them for a lot. So it was a lot of self healing I had to do on that end, on the back end of that.
I feel that, and I'm about to say something, but y'all can't comment on it because it'll get too deep, and I ain't a spiritual person. So I a time in my life, I blame God like really badly when it came to football. I blame God.
Woo!
So, but like I said, we ain't gonna get too deep into that. That's too much
No,
work.
but that's not out the norm though. Like a lot of people
It's
I
not.
think we
lose
all
family
had
members, they
that
lose
talk
stuff, and
with
they get mad at God. Like that's not out the norm at all.
I ain't go through that phase,
Yeah,
but
we
yeah,
all done did that.
y'all got
I
it.
done
Yeah,
did
I
that.
definitely had
I
my
did
moment with
that
that.
a lot.
I definitely had a couple moments where I was,
Sure,
but I
like,
snapped it back
God,
together though,
what
because
is
I'm
you
like,
doing?
I'm scared of God. But I definitely had a couple of the moments like, man, the fuck, what the
You
fuck you
know,
do that for?
yeah, for sure. For real. I don't had a moment like that here. I want to say last year I had that moment. I was like, am I cursed? Like, God, what is you doing? Like, this, is that, and the other. And God, literally told me, bitch, I gave you the flags. You ignored them
Hmm.
all. What are you
Hmm.
thinking?
Yes,
The
Lord.
proof was interpreting, like, it was there. You
You
I'ma
just
tell
ignored
you.
yeah.
them all.
I'ma tell you why I could never blame God. And my mama, she did this for me. If you know me, you know I got a million and one stories about my mama. So like when my sister was murdered, my mama, she said she went to God. She didn't get mad at God. She went to God and she told him, she said, I can't do this. You gonna have to help me through this. So she didn't ask him no questions. So that was what I had in front of me. So that's why I ain't never had to question God, because either it's me, or and that's something I'm not doing that's in alignment with what I want to see or what God want to see from me. So I'm not gonna blame something for what I had a choice for, because I know He gave me my choice. He not
Mhm.
just beating me up. Even when people started dying in the streets, even when people start going through all this shit, I'm looking at it. I'm like, man, I want to be sad about little JJ, but Lil JJ was out there wilding. You feel me? And he know what come with that life. So I'm not gonna be sitting here talking about some God. Why you take Lil JJ? Like, no, let's be
But little
real.
JJ, one of the Kia boys. You know what I'm
You
saying?
hear
Like,
me? He was one of the top shooters. You feel me? Like,
That part.
come on now. I gotta be realistic. I had to get realistic with myself. Like I had to be real with myself. Like where is it that I'm making this decision that's fucking me up?
but you know what?
So-
What I
But I know
think
you
is,
didn't he didn't have that opportunity because it was a heart defects for you. So I understand how that could be a little different, but
yeah, because it's
if
like
it's true,
different
it applies
situations bring out
always.
different emotions when it comes to being upset at God. Because, like, I was upset at God for a second for when my mama died. I'm just like,
Yeah.
nah, if I had been there in the
Mm.
room, it would have never happened. Certain things would have never happened. I really do believe if I was there, my mama would still be here to this day. So it's
But
like,
was you upset at God or was you upset at yourself because you wasn't there?
both.
Or both.
Because it's like, out of all these surgeries that she done had, why did this, and again, and let's talk about it, like that was malpractice. That's why we sued the hospital and won a huge settlement because it was malpractice on their part. So out of all these surgeries throughout
Mm-hmm.
all the years that my mama have had on her back and different little stuff, why did this one have to take her out? The most simple surgery out of any surgery she could have ever had in her life.
But
This
what had
she didn't go up in
changed?
that
But what had
she
changed
didn't
that
go
you
up in there
wasn't
having no
there?
life threatening surgery. Like she didn't go in there sick. This was damn near cosmetic.
Why wasn't you there this time though?
Because we wasn't talking.
You see what I'm saying? We think about the
Yeah.
choices that we make because you
Well,
had
that's
the
why I said both.
opportunity
I'm
to
like, I was
show up.
mad at myself because we wasn't talking,
Yeah.
but I was mad at God because I'm like, this simple ass surgery really took her out. And I'm talking about my mama that had she used to have major back surgeries, like major, where they used to have to cut her whole back open and reconstruct her. She had hip replacement, but this one little minor cosmetic surgery took her out, and it was malpractice at that. I was mad.
Yeah, I feel that. In the moment,
Ooh,
like you always
child.
say, when you going through the storm and I got the bird's eye view, it's always easier when somebody on the outside looking in. Cause when you inside looking out,
Looking
you
in.
don't see shit but trees.
Mm-mm. That's it. You don't see nothing but what's in
Right.
front of you. But when that person got that bird's eye view, they can see everything.
Yeah.
Everything. And I think that's
Y'all
why
know
it's
that's
easy for me to
right.
come to like Samira, people who I trust with y'all opinion. Y'all not gonna judge me. Y'all not gonna base it off how y'all feel at the moment. Y'all gonna base it off of facts and the
Yeah.
underlying evidence that I provide. So yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I feel that. No, no,
Yes.
no, no.
Yes, sir.
How you feeling?
I'm feeling tipsy.
I see you. You over there?
Hey.
You over there smiling, cheesing? Cool. I got you. All
I'm
right. So,
always happy though.
how does your feel? How does your fear of failure or judgment impact your ability to be accountable?
Oh shit, we ain't got enough time for that. Come on now. But my fear of failure
Mm.
impacts a lot of things to this day, to this very moment.
I know
Um,
prior you mentioned on the podcast how you'd be worried about not doing this at your boutique because you don't want it to not work or not go through, or you would promote, and if it wasn't good, you'll scratch that and say forget that idea. So
mhm.
how does your fear of failure play into all that for you?
I feel like it's stopping me from making a lot more money than I'm making. I have a whole class. I'm the only person I damn near want to say in the country, and I'm real slept on. I know for a fact I'm the only person in Chicago that offers financing for events. So you know how people rent out event spaces and have
Yeah.
baby showers and stuff. I'm the only person that allows you to finance that interest free. I have people
Oh
reaching out
wow.
to me
That's
all
awesome.
over the country. Like you can have a baby shower at my venue, literally party now, pay later. I have a whole lesson plan, slides, pictures, examples, hyperlinks. I have a whole lesson plan. I have people that have reached out to me in my DMs from all over the country that want me to teach them this. And I have this on my computer, too scared to release it because I feel like it's going to be a failure. And again, I feel like this is something that could possibly make me a lot of money, but I don't know. I feel like maybe if I just had somebody that's, a little more seasoned than me, go through it and comb through it and tell me, what I can add, what I could take out, and this. And I think I have a little more confidence then, but I can't find nobody.
Let me ask you this. No, no. Do you have an idol?
Beyonce.
Do you ever think or wonder how they get there? How did she get where she was at?
That's one of the most hardworking women that I don't know personally.
You ever ask
She's
yourself?
very hard working. Very
Do
hard.
you ever
Very hard. She deserves everything she got.
do you
Everything.
do you ever ask yourself where you think you could be if you just tried?
Yeah, all the time. Even with that, it's like I sit back and I don't sleep at night. I have insomnia. So, people call it entrepreneur brain. I say, bitch, you need to go get checked out. But I sit up and I think about this shit all the time. Like, if I was to just drop this and sell an ebook or sell it as a digital product, as a download, I know I could make a lot, but I don't know. I don't know what it is. And I say this real time, like, I don't know what's wrong with me. Like, I know I'll make a lot of money off this, but why am I so scared to take that leap of faith? And
Why are
I'm
you
real heavy on walking by faith, not by sight.
why are you so worried about not holding yourself accountable to grow?
Because again, that fear of failure. Like, okay, so there have been a couple of situations where I saw the failure and I just kind of stuck to it. So I used to host these large pop-up shops, these large like expos. I'm putting 125 vendors in one room. I've had celebrities come out, I've had major radio stations come out and stream them. But ask me if I feel like I could put something like that together again.
I feel like you
Like I
can. How many relationships have you been through and
I
didn't
feel like
work?
you
How many interviews have you went to and you didn't get the job? How many times in life have you taken a
can. Okay,
test
Miss,
and
like
you
you
didn't
got
get
the
the grades you
ability.
wanted to get? The reality of it is failure is the only way you grow. Because if I don't fail
yeah.
at something the first time, I'll never know how to do it the next time. I'll never know
Hmm.
where I got to change it the next time.
Ooh,
So it's like to hold yourself accountable for those things. Failure is one of the biggest things to growth. And failure comes in many different forms. Failure comes in losing, it comes in criticism, it comes in losses, it comes in death. Failure comes with your own mistakes, all that. But if you don't make a mistake, what lesson you gonna learn? If everybody always got what they
mm,
wanted, or always passed their tests, or always made a lot of money, or was always successful, you never learned anything in life. The only thing
I
you
think it's the
innately
more
know
challenging
is
task for me.
it, the only thing that's challenging is something you don't want to do, something you don't want to put time
Exactly.
into.
So when it becomes challenging, I instantly lose interest in it. Like, oh, this is too hard. I'm
that's
gonna
a
just focus
mental
on something
thing.
that's
But you have a
yeah.
child. You have a child.
That's
A
a
child is
mental. That's a
challenging.
mental
A
thing.
child is always changing,
Hmm.
developing, and growing. That's the most challenging thing in life, in my opinion. A child,
Okay.
Ooh, it is.
because
Lord have
Who if
they
y'all
are
had
mercy.
heard me yelling at her about her homework before we hopped on here? Jesus. I know. Oh, I know what I know.
your children
Ooh,
are
child.
they are little mirrors and little forms of you. And if
Little
you can't
sponges, yep.
if you can't show them that I'm gonna hold myself accountable and go after what I want to go after, how you gonna expect them to do it? Just because you're telling them?
No, so I lead by example with her all the time. I think my problem is because my daughter is in the field with me. Like she helped me at my venue. When my boutique was in my storefront before I converted it to a venue, she would be in there like, hey, try on this dress. Like she watches me and she's learning from example. I think my problem with failure is I like to a certain extent, I like to stick to what's comfortable. Like like I said, I may not get a booking today for my venue, but I know eventually I get one. So it's easy for me to stay on task and be consistent with that because I know people are always gonna want venues. Now, something more challenging that's on my to-do list right now is I have a friend that showed me how to do credit repair, and I'm pretty decent at it. Like I know how to do the process, but now we stuck on the part where we're trying to add those trade lines to our credit, and I kind of just left it there. Like I closed my laptop, like I'll get to it. This is too hard. This is not coming to me easy. So I think what I need to learn how to do is be uncomfortable for a little while until I finally can grasp onto, because I think the most challenging things for me will ultimately make me the most successful, but I'm just too, I guess you could say, lazy to put in the work to take on such a challenging task.
Everything you saying going in one ear and out the other. Think about everything you just told me right now. Now I'm gonna tell you all that stuff in reverse, and you're gonna think about like, damn, I really did. First off, this your first boutique, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm. So the challenge started there with, I never had a boutique before, but I went out and did it. It could have failed. It didn't. So you already held yourself accountable by going out and spending money on something that you never did. You didn't know how it was gonna work out. You didn't know if it's gonna work out. Nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So you started with accountability. You started off, you know what? I'm not worried about the fear. I'm gonna go out and just get it. I'm gonna go out and put in the work. And then you stopped holding yourself accountable after you already started something that you wanted to do.
Because like with the boutique, what I will say, that was not a challenge for me because I saw a need for something. So I kind of in my head kind of figured it was gonna be successful because let's just be for real. I don't know how it is in Florida where y'all at, or I don't know where you at. Jarrell, where you at?
I'm in Chicago. I ain't know.
Oh, you in Chicago?
I wish I was in Florida.
Okay. So when I started up my boutique, there was a need. There are no plus size. There aren't many exclusively plus size boutiques. So I knew, like in the back of my mind, like I'm going on a limb, but I know this is gonna be successful because I'm feeding a need. I'm not doing the typical shit. I'm not opening a restaurant. I'm not, trying to open up something that's like typical. I'm opening up something that I know women are gonna flock to, and sure enough, they did.
Right.
I did really, really good for myself during the pandemic, but of course, when all that PPP money ran out, so did my customers.
Okay, so I feel that. I respect that 100%. Do me a favor. Go ahead and cash at me $100,000. I appreciate it. No, you can't do it. I have a need for money. Do you have a need for money?
I do.
Do you have a need for growth? I guess not. I don't know what happened.
Okay, there we go. It was a glitch in the matrix.
do you have a need for growth?
I do.
So why do you let your fear take away your accountability?
Because like I just feel like, man, I don't know, some stuff I hate how I need somebody to hold me by my hand to do certain stuff. And when I feel like I'm being too needy, I will sit back and just kind of like, all right, fuck it. I'll get to it when I get to it. And that's really my energy right now.
You have sat here and gave me a whole bunch of things that you call reasons, but I call excuses.
I'll take that.
Accountability is all about understanding the difference between a reason and an excuse. That's all accountability is. A lot of people use reasons all the time and call them reasons. They use excuses and call them reasons. You won't understand it's an excuse until you try something else. Until you hold yourself accountable.
But you know what? I did though. So, okay, like I said, when the pandemic, when all that PPP money slowed down and people was not walking into my store anymore, I had to go back to the drawing board. Like, okay, ain't nobody walking in here no more. But you got this storefront. What you gonna do with it? I slowly began to convert it into an event space, and I took my boutique and I put it online because I get more online orders than walk-in customers. So I still run like in that situation, I did what worked, but that wasn't challenging to do. Like I said, with stuff that's challenging, I avoid because it calls for too much brain work, and I like to stick to what's easy. So if we talking about where I could grow, I need to be comfortable taking on challenging tasks and being consistent with pulling through and actually, getting it done.
Hold yourself accountable with every step you take. Whether it's hiring an assistant, whether it's doing things yourself, hold yourself accountable. You never know how far you'll go unless you hold yourself accountable for every action you're gonna take.
Mm-hmm.
Don't let that fear weigh you down because you don't know what's gonna happen.
For sure, I agree.
I trust you. I believe in you. Go ahead, keep pushing.
I'm gonna pull out my laptop tomorrow. I'm gonna try and take a deep breath.
All right, I'm definitely ask this.
Get to it because you're right. Like this, like it's a couple things on my list right now that I know for a fact will make me a lot of money, and I'm just like, oh my god, but I don't know how to figure this shit out. I don't got nobody to help me, so it's just stuck on my to-do list. It's on my to-do list, but it's stuck there.
I can work for. I need a part-time job anyway. I can work for you.
Okay, come on. I
I'm
need
I'm
help.
I'm
I need
100%.
help.
I am 100% dead serious.
Okay,
Okay, cool. We'll be in touch. China,
for sure.
are there any past experiences or traumas that have influenced your relationship with accountability? Now, I'm asking you this based on no
Yeah,
disrespect.
losing.
You have had a marriage and a divorce.
What?
I'm going through a divorce. I'm going. He said a marriage and a divorce.
Yeah,
I've had a marriage that didn't last yet. Um, going through a divorce. We ain't divorced yet. But
Well, going through that process.
what was the question again?
Are there
Yeah,
any
what did
past
you ask
experiences or
before the
traumas?
divorce?
Are there any past experiences or traumas that have
Before the
influenced your
divorce.
relationship? Yeah. Are there any past experiences or traumas that have influenced your relationship with accountability?
Um, um, I would say, um, like I said earlier, it would only be self accountability, allowing things to happen and not really taking that self accountability. Like the flags are flagging, and I'm not paying attention to the flags. I'm allowing to this passive aggressive thing to happen and grow and grow and grow and grow. And I think where, if you don't correct something at the door, eventually it's going to end up in a disaster. So I think uh myself being just the self accountability of seeing things and not um and allowing things to happen without putting my foot down before the marriage. Cuz I was very quiet. Growing up, I used to get bullied in school. I had an older sister who used to take up for me. So I never really had to take up for myself. But when she graduated or whatever, or there's a split between middle school and she moved to high school, I'm in the school by myself. So yeah, I got picked on, I got bullied. Of course, my name is China. Who names their daughter China in an all black school? Kids are cruel. So,
Shit, I
I
got
used to
niece
get
named
bullied,
China.
and that was very traumatic. Yeah, but nowadays it's cute. I'm an 80s baby. That was China. What is that?
Oh dang, I'm
To
looking
the
at the
adults
chat.
it was
Desiree got to
cute.
get on her poetry night.
Yeah. Yeah, we both got to get on it. But basically that's really was a traumatic experience for me, was when I got picked on in school, and it built anger. It built up anger, and I became this very angry person. And I didn't care what I said to people. I didn't care what I did to people in a point in time in my life, but I had to grow up out of that and take self accountability to to know that that wasn't the route to take. So I think that for me was what kind of like molded me into the person I am today.
Understandable. Last but not least, Des. How can you start embracing accountability as an opportunity for growth and personal development?
How can you start embracing accountability as an opportunity for growth and personal development? Well, first, start with self awareness. So, because the only way you'll ever be able to be accountable is to be aware of yourself. So, you got to see you at every turn. So, um, and once you're able to be aware of yourself, then you just got to apply solutions to your problems. I mean, the thing that
Hmm.
Larissa always say is that's easier said than done. But once it's done, it's easier done than said. Trust me. Once you
Mm-hmm.
figure out how to do it, you did it. So once it's done, it's easier done than said. So just keep that in mind. Just be aware of yourself. Walk with yourself often. So get out your phone, get out your turn that shit off. Like spend time with yourself. See, check in with yourself. It's the same way I talk about how I want a person to love me, treat me like your favorite hobby. You know what I'm saying? Research me, study me, and it's the same thing we got to do with ourselves. If I want a person to do that with me, I got to do it with me too. So that's how
Mhm.
you do that. That's how you start to
Mm-hmm.
implement that self development and stuff inside of
Create
you.
those new habits.
Mm-hmm.
Appreciate that.
All
I
right.
live. I live by a phrase. I always have. Always will. The biggest lie I was told in life was it's hard.
Hmm.
Because after you do it, you realize it was never hard to begin with.
Okay, I go through that a lot.
Easier done than said. Fuck you talking about? Do it.
Hmm.
I dare you. I triple dog dare you. Bet that bitch.
Well,
That's how I'm talking.
before we close out, China, Nunu, Dez, y'all got anything else to add for accountability?
Practice good
Um,
habits and hold yourself accountable.
no. Yep.
Oh, do that shit.
You'll
Be
feel a lot
accountable.
better if you hold
Just
yourself
do it.
accountable.
On your Nike shit. Since everybody like
Yeah,
buying
you
Nike,
definitely
just
Mhm.
feel a
do it
lot
for
better.
accountability.
Just do
Just,
it. Yeah.
just do accountability.
Just do it
Just
like
Facts,
Nike.
facts, facts.
so.
Well,
But yeah.
thanks again, everybody, for coming on and joining. This was the Immersive Experience. I see you guys on Sunday. Y'all
This
have a
was
good one.
dope. Good job, Jay.
I know
Hey,
I try.
okay.
Just a
Even though
little
you
bit.
did that shit.
I
You
try.
did
You did a great job.
good.
Thank
This
you,
the
thank you,
Jay
thank you.
takeover. Period.
All right. All right.
Did Jay take over on
Okay.
Thursday?